Welcome back to Try Before We Die, the whiskey review show where we don't know what we're drinking, but we'll tell you what we're thinking. And just before we get started, thanks to all the subscribers out there. We just appreciate the growth we're experiencing, and we really love the comments in the back and the forth. So thanks so much.
Did you just get back from a safari?
This was my pal Mal.
Did you? I mean, it looked like you came right out of a safari.
It's a fishing shirt.
Oh.
There's a safari helmet around here that you might have to wear again.
I will.
Yes. What was that character's name?
I don't remember.
What was the movie?
It's multiple movies.
Jumanji.
Could have just said one in Keen. I would have said Jumanji.
Okay. Here we go. Tonight, we're going to open unscripted, unplanned.
Free-forming.
Of the...
One.
Over 400 bottles of whiskey in this bar. Bottle 273. So we figured something out, and I know where bottle 273 is. It is on the second shelf in the snooker room. Oh. So we'll see everybody around the corner for 273.
Go get it.
Gonna go get it. My bad, everybody. We're actually on the first shelf in the snooker room. So we end back there at 261, and we're going to 272. So that will bring us 11 across. These happen to be 12 across. -1 is 11. That brings us to a bottle I've actually been looking forward to trying, the Glenlivet 12, but the Illicit Still. And I believe this is coming in at a 46%. We'll double check, but it's not a 40%, I know. And so there's the licensed dram and the Illicit Still, which were two releases in the last year and a half from Glenlivet. I'm still looking for the licensed dram, but I'm hearing and reading a lot of good things about the Illicit Still. So we'll head back to the bar with Malcolm to have the Speyside Glenlivet.
Why, sir, I heard you poured a Glenlivet.
Oh, my Lord.
I'm going to hold this hat like this the entire time.
I'm going to need you to hold that hat the entire time. Did you happen to remember the guy's name?
No.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. Hey, we got this limited edition Glenlivet, the Illicit Still, a 12-year-old.
Illicit?
Yes.
Sounds like it has ties to those colonies across the pond.
This is like you. You're a limited edition, thankfully.
Oh, it is a limited edition, isn't it?
Yeah, so we'll get this opened. And so what do you know about Glenlivet?
I love it.
Who was a founder of Glenlivet? One of the two.
Oh, good Lord. Now I can't remember the call.
George Smith. Okay. What does illicit mean?
Illegal.
Yes. And so when Scotch whiskey and whiskey in general was first being distilled,
wasn't it considered illegal to be doing it unless you were some sort of taxation from the British or something along those lines, if
yes.
I remember correctly?
All right. So I believe there was an excise. Oh, my goodness.
Happy birthday to me.
Oh, I hope somebody can see that. I believe it was the tax law of 1824. And so prior to that, whiskey that was distilled was illegal or illicit. And so this is the illicit. What's a still?
A device that you use to create alcohol, to boil alcohol, boil the mixture.
Or how I'm holding myself. A still is Mal's right? A still is how you distill.
Actually, no, I like the one. Like yours better. I like that. Like I'm holding myself.
So an illicit still is an illegal operation, yes, for making whiskey. And so I thought over there I guessed a 46%. The lighting is a little better over here, and this is actually coming in at 48% ABV. We have a non-chill filtered statement. We don't have a color statement, though. We have a 12-year. This a limited edition.
Here, why don't you, I realize you're having a really hard time here. Like when we open this and take it, you could take some out of one of those glasses.
Yeah, we're gonna share it. Yeah, we don't have the color statement, but I'd like to believe at this high ABV, this limited edition, already the no chill filtered, that we are a no color added. What do you think they're trying to give us in this experience? The illicit still, a limited edition, a high ABV.
Okay, I'm going to say what I hope they're trying to do.
Okay.
I hope they try to give us a taste of what it used to be before there were laws or set procedures to make. I'm hoping this is a little bit more off the cuff, and we're just going to freaking have this alcohol, and we're going to get it, and we're going to bottle it.
Right, because the juice coming off the still back in the day, right, didn't have to be 40% at least, right? And so it depends how many times they ran it through and the ABV they got. So Glenlivet releases a lot of 40 and 43% offerings, right? And so to come out with this 48, I think you're onto it. I think the idea is this is whiskey a little bit more like when it was just coming off a still back in the day.
Yes.
Right. And perhaps even having a little reflection on George Smith as the founder, right, and some of the whiskey he may have been producing early on. Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping too, right? Do you have a favorite Glenlivet?
Yeah, I do love that one.
Yeah.
It's just something about it.
Yeah.
And it now that my palate's starting to expand,
Yeah.
I'd have to say it's probably not a great choice.
Yeah.
But there's something about the Nadura that is just so it's you're drinking.
Yep.
You know you're drinking something.
Now, what about we opened the Enigma?
That was a good drink.
Yep. And then we had that 1970s distillate.
Oh yeah. But I have to say, for me, it's the Nadura because I've had it probably the majority of the time.
The sherry or the bourbon?
The bourbon.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a fan of the sherry, the not available anymore, the 16-year-old Nadura. That's one of my favorites.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've drank several bottles.
Yes, we've got a little experience here. So,
Do the color,
all right,
or you take the bigger glass.
I'll take the bigger glass, but I'm immediately going to share some with you.
All right, I'm going to just
But
do
this
this
is a
on
nice
my knee.
color. You can put it up here if you want,
I'm going to do it.
behind Randy. All right, so we have a medium gold.
I hope you really can't see it because there is a slight difference
in volume. It just fell out of that bottle.
It did. It was illicit. Yeah, I'm agreeing with your color.
Yeah. What did I say?
Amber.
I feel like I said medium gold.
No, you said amber.
Okay.
No, you said medium gold.
Yeah.
And it is medium gold, amber.
Yeah. It's a robust gold.
It is.
Yes.
It's got color to it.
Yeah.
Which is weird when you say that, and we talk about color additives, right?
Yeah.
It's weird when you say that because I find it now. Why would you want to add color to your liquor? Based on the fact that we have done some liquors that I thought would be much darker, have been on the paler side and have been fantastic.
Right. I think that there's this market share that is so caught up in certain things that may be more on the superficial level, right?
Yeah. If it doesn't look like that, then they're not going to like it.
Right, right. Or it didn't. This looks different than the last bottle I bought.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
Consistency.
And so that consistency. That's why a Big Mac looks and tastes like a Big Mac, whether you're in Idaho
Yep.
or Virginia. So I'm told.
Well.
which is why when we would travel for paintball, I was always a fan of let's find a local restaurant, a one-off that, we're having this experience here.
Yep.
Let's not, we could go to Applebee's, right? But it's going to taste the same, right?
Yeah, see, I don't see too many legs on yours either.
Yeah, I did see some really quick sheeting down because if you find a little air bubble, it just drops. Now, what I actually see for you is a perforated edge all along the top, and the run is incredibly slow.
That means this stuff is clinging to this glass.
Yeah, it is hanging in there. All right, what do you think it smells like? So what do we know about Glenlivet? It's a Speyside. So I feel like we're probably in American oak and bourbon cask.
Floral, vanilla, maybe a little nuttiness.
Yep. That high ABV hopefully will bring out some of that fruit is what I'm hoping for.
But I'm thinking like this is going to be more medicinal because of the illicitness of this.
All right, the high ABV. All right, let's give it a nose. Just want everybody to see the Tempest has completely soaked this cap, and it came all the way through. All right, not too punchy.
No.
I feel bourbon.
Yeah, little hints of vanilla.
Some sweetness.
Yep.
Not super grassy.
No, more sweet.
If it is grassy, it is an incredibly fresh cut grass.
And there's something candied, maybe?
Okay. How about a pear?
Ooh. Yeah, or maybe on the green side. Maybe apple.
Okay. It's a fresh candied.
Because there's like a really sharp sweetness in there.
Right. For me, it would be like a chewy fresh candied, not a hard stale candy.
But it's really pleasant, though. I would not think, if I'm thinking illicit, I'm thinking the ABV, this at 48, you're saying, right?
48, yeah.
I would have thought this would be a little bit more punchy, a little bit more, oof. Almost feels a little bit more too well crafted to call it illicit.
Well, I think, again, tasting will give us that final perception.
I want you to chug that glass.
For it. Just chug it. Just knock it back.
Just chug it so you get even, and then we'll both go ahead.
I'm not going to do that. Let me lend a little into your glass.
Look how much is in that glass. There you go. Oh yeah, that evened out. Actually, not bad.
Yeah, it'll do. All right. The Illicit Still 12-year-old 48% ABV limited edition from Glenlivet, a Speyside. We're picking up some candied green fruit, whether it's a pear or an apple. I feel bourbon. I think you're in agreement with that. It's not super punchy on the nose.
It's really pleasant.
The legs were very slow to develop. Cheers.
Glenlivet Illicit.
This has good depth. Moderate, light mouthfeel, but the depth is almost three-dimensional for me. There's a lot happening there. Slightly spicy in the end, but very fruity and perhaps even nutty in the mouth. What do you got?
Okay. I like the nuttiness.
Yep.
I definitely had some heat at the end of that. So I definitely now, 48. I got it. And I like this discussion of three-dimensional. And I think this is where I wish my palate was a little bit more broad or a little bit more advanced. Because there is a lot going on in this drink. I feel the nuttiness is at the very beginning. And then there is like a burst of flavor.
No, I agree. I agree. This is, again, moving into that range of Glenlivets that goes beyond their traditional 12, their French oak, right? Even their 18, right? Because of that high ABV, this is a first cousin of a Nadura. This is a first cousin of that J.G. Smith we opened earlier this season. This is more of a relative to there. This is a second cousin to the core 12. This is a second cousin to the core 15.
And now I have to change that green fruit to a reddish fruit. I would like to say...
Well, what's a reddish fruit?
I would like to say this is... I'm getting hints of like cherry. Because there is something in there that's really a sharp sort of... It's right there because you get that we're calling the nuttiness. Then you get this roll of flavor. And like I said, I'm not capable of pulling different flavors out of there. And then we get this little bit, this heat at the end. And that sweet flavor I can't picture. And I want to say cherry.
I'm not finding the cherry, but that sweetness that has a relative thickness to it at the end, I agree with you on, right? And so I'm like pomegranate, right? You know, something is happening there that I'll agree with you that it's not now immediately recognizable as apple or pear, but I'm not finding cherry necessarily, but I am finding something pretty robust, pretty deep, pretty rich.
You know, the other side of that I might say is blackcurrant.
Okay. All right.
Now I'm starting to think about this. Right. It's blackcurrant.
So think about this now, Malcolm, in relation to it being a Speyside.
Okay, so I'm going to sort of take this apart, right?
Okay.
When I think of Speyside, I think of that floral light notes. Mm-hmm. This has a more deeper, darker feel to it. And when I start now, I'm starting to throw out, so maybe I'm grasping at straws. But now I'm starting to think raisins, blackcurrant. There is something there that is a lot more than what I would expect from a Speyside. And it might be the fact that it's just been backed up by 48%. But there's more to this. And I wouldn't consider this your traditional Speyside. Based on the fact that I'm not getting the notes I would expect from it.
I 100% agree with you that if somebody said, hey, I'd like to just have a classic example of a Speyside, this is not the bottle I would pull, right? I would, however, pull to say what can happen with a Speyside with a little bit of manipulation.
Okay.
Right. Still foundationally, you know, this isn't a lowland. It's not an Isla.
No.
Right. It's not a Campbellton. You know, if somebody was like, guess the region, you know, you can feel safe with the islands only because there's such a range that you can draw from. I don't find a Highland in here. So it's sort of a modified Speyside.
Yes.
Yes. And there is something deep, rich, and fruity. Nutty in the front.
Nutty in the front.
Right.
I'll
fruity
give you
sweet
that.
at the end.
And then it's got this
little spice.
Little spice.
But not.
No, I'm like right in here.
Right. Yeah. I might
right
be a little higher than you. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's that explosion of taste, and I'm going to call it blackcurrant or raisin or something like that. That is really present. You can't miss it. There's no like you take a slow sip, take a fast sip, take a big sip, take a small sip. It's every time it's the same thing, same trigger.
A lot of folks will talk about as you get deeper into the Scotch whiskey world, sort of not paying as much attention to the 43% offerings because they want a little bit more of that complexity. They want to sort of test their range and their palate. And I'm now agreeing that I understand why this particular bottling has been getting a lot of positive chatter since it came out.
Oh, really?
It's a Glenlivet, but it's not that core range, which is much more subtle, right?
Correct.
And not as complex, which is why we like the Nadura or the Enigma and things like that, because it's all leveled up stuff. And that's why I believe this to be more of a first cousin to those releases than to the core.
And actually, that's actually a great way of putting that because that's exactly how this is. Because I'm not thinking this is a Glenlivet, but I am thinking this is a Nadura. And what I like about this is the fact that because they've done such a good job of bringing this taste at the back of the drink, at the very back of the drink, whatever it is, cherry, whatever we're going to call it. I'm going to stick with the blackcurrant raisin. That flavor stays with you. So if you take a sip, once you get that sip down, that flavor sits there literally.
Yeah.
Literally 3, 4, 5, 6 times you slap your tongue up against your mouth and you can still taste it. It's just lingering there. Shortbread.
Shortbread. So the Girl Scouts were at the post office this morning, well placed, and we picked up some shortbread. It feels like this might be the right for this, right? Because I feel like there'll be some of that subtle sweetness in here, a slightly dry, crisp,
bring a little bit of the nuttiness,
right, and sort of
even out the backside,
the front, right,
but
and
still give you
yes,
all right,
all right,
all right.
Yeah. Not a sweet cookie,
but hints.
Right. That's good. That's a good match.
That actually is a good match.
That is a very good match because we have this very dry cookie.
The only thing I will say is a detraction to me. I love what it did with the nuttiness in the front.
Yep.
It created this ball that just rolled around on your tongue. Then you get that rush of the flavor from this being eased in by the shortbread taste, that slightly sweet, but like cookie. And the only thing I didn't really like about it is on the very end now, I get this spike of something that is a little bit more bitter.
So I'm not going to go the bitter route, but what I would say is the end, as the whiskey ends, the cookie maintains.
Okay.
Okay?
That's fair.
Right. In fact, now that I'm cookie.
Yes.
Right.
I've got that shortbread taste
exactly.
in my mouth.
Exactly.
That's interesting. Okay, I like that as well.
All right. But I do think it's a fine pair.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could definitely munch on a few of these and keep your Girl Scouts going.
Yep. All right. So the Glenlivet 12-year-old Illicit Still, I've been looking forward to trying it. Randy has come through for us with this 48%. As we get ready to sign off, you may want to be in uniform.
Oh, sorry, sir. I don't know where they're getting these from, but they're
doing a good job. Life may throw us punches and knock us on our asses, but real friends are there to ease the pain and somehow make you laugh.
Cheers, mate.
This Illicit Still, I like this idea of a higher ABV Glenlivet reflecting on perhaps some of the early releases where they maybe weren't measuring to a 40%. They were just like, yeah, that tastes good, right? So sort of this throwback idea, right? It'd be great if Glenlivet kept these higher ABV offerings on the shelves.
I agree. I mean, I think the throwback is the best way of describing this.